We're gonna swim, bike, and run. In the Kona sun, we're gonna swim, bike, and run. In the Kona sun, it's Breakfast with Bob.
Hey everybody, welcome to Breakfast with Bob. My name is Bob Babbitt. We're brought to you by the PTO, the Pro Triathletes Organization, by AMP Human, VeloFix, Normatec Form Goggles, UCAN, and our Challenge Athletes Foundation. Before COVID hit, we sent out 3,921 grants totaling $5.9 million to keep challenged athletes in the game of life through sport. Our next guest, two-time duathlon world champion and 2017 silver medalist at Ironman 70.3 World Championships, Emma Pallant joins us. Emma, how are you?
Good, thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's always a pleasure, Emma. We got to meet in Nice last year. We chatted before the 70.3 Worlds, and I think you won what, like 6 or 7 70.3s last year. And you go into Nice, and you told us that, hey, if I get top 10, I'm happy. You got 9th. Were you happy?
Yeah, I lied. I wasn't.
I knew you were lying. I know you were there to win.
Yeah. No, I think you just kind of was more unhappy. Executed the race maybe. I was just way too nervous on the downhills, and it cost me like too much time in a field of that world class. You can't have exits, and on the day I did, and I definitely got punished for it.
So the thing that's amazing to me, it's like you've had 3 athletic careers. You're a track athlete. You really could have made the Olympic team for the UK in 2008. I think you were 1 spot, right? Didn't it come down to in 2008? It was you and a close friend, and you were told, you guys go to this meet, and if one of you medals, you're on the team, and your friend wins the gold, you get the bronze, and she goes to the Olympics and you don't.
Yeah, that is the story. Yeah, so close enough, but she's still kicking butt.
When you look at when you're talking the 1500 and that type of distance, and then 2012, obviously you're trying to make the Olympic team again, but did you know going into your trials you had a knee issue that was going to be a problem?
Yeah, to be honest, it's something, and I hate going into things not well prepared. I always think, if you're gonna race the best, then you have to go in with the best preparation. And I didn't have much choice of. I probably should have stopped a year earlier and just sorted my knee out. But there's the next goal, the next what if, and I can just push through here, and if I can just. And I did so much of it off cross training, I shouldn't have done it, and I learned a lot from it.
And you ended up having knee surgery?
Yes, yeah.
And to recover from that, a lot of swimming and cycling?
Yep, you got it. Lots of swimming and cycling. It was one-legged rowing to begin with, and then I preferred the cycling for sure.
And did you move right from there? You moved right from there into more the ITU format to try to make an Olympic team this time in the sport of triathlon. And you raced for a while through ITU. When did you get to the point where you felt like, you know what, I think I want to try a little longer distance?
Yeah, probably because every time I was coming out the water and not having any trouble finding my bike, like I was always there and my bike was there. And then, it's just that game of and I love chasing, but I kind of felt like if anything the girls are getting stronger and stronger on the swim, I fancied kind of the whole idea of the non-drafting and being able to just get on the bike and everyone kind of working a bit more on their own, so that was probably I'm not sure what year. I want to say that was like maybe 4 years ago. I can't remember. Let's call it 4.
And what I love is your first triathlon, you had a friend, Kelly, I think it was Kelly, had charity and wanted you to do the London Triathlon for her charity. And you were just you hadn't done a triathlon before. And when they saw your name as a registered athlete, they immediately made you an elite athlete and put you in with the elite athletes. That had to be pretty scary, going into your first triathlon and being listed as an elite athlete.
Yeah, they clearly hadn't seen my swim, but I think the lady knew me from. She used to be the head of athletics, and she'd moved across to be the president of the triathlon, and she was like, "Yeah, this girl can run; she'll be fine." So yeah, it literally felt like it was kind of thrown in at the deep end. But yeah, it was good. It was good fun.
And when did you connect with Michelle Dillon?
So that was back in 2012. So the end of 2012. I kind of I needed a coach, and I was recommended her.
And how much of a difference did her and Stuart Hayes make in terms of just your progress as an athlete?
Yeah, massively. I think to be able to live and train with people that have been there, they've done it, and like they literally held my hand and I borrowed Michelle's bike, and it was like taking me right from the start and looking after, and it was that close kind of training with people, and I love that. I've always done that kind of from a young age, coming from the running background. I was always training with my best friends. I was always into like the group vibe, and I think you can really push yourself kind of that much harder if you're surrounded by other people. Say you go and run a fight. I'm sure we've all done it at the moment. We've got to run a 5K, a virtual 5K. You're doing that, or you're pushing against someone, like even racing on Zwift. The minute you see that wheel and you have to hold onto that wheel, you're suddenly 10 watts higher. And I think that's the thing. Training and racing with people really makes that difference.
So your first, when you stepped up to longer distance, was your first race down in Brazil?
Oh, yeah.
A little hot. And I read somewhere where you throughout the years, you've had these sort of all of a sudden you pass out, which is a little scary, especially when you're on the bike. I think you crashed in Montserrat, broke your shoulder or something. So how scary is that to all of a sudden lose consciousness and wake up so not quite remember what happened?
Yeah, I used to think it was a really good trick to get out of school. So I used to faint in the classroom, and everyone found it hilarious because we'd stop working for a bit, Emma would go to the medical, and then I'd go home. And I thought, brilliant. When you start doing it and you're on a bike, it's a little bit, like you say, less desirable. And in Brazil, it happened on the run. And I definitely prefer it on the run, but yeah, it's never nice. I guess it's one of those things, and I really should learn kind of that I'm going to find it hard on the longer races in the heat. But we managed to get that strategy for 70.3. Like I really do feel like I'm getting a lot better. And a lot of it comes down to I'm a really high sweater and I have a really low blood pressure. And yeah, it's kind of my body's coping mechanism is saying, you've pushed me too hard and I've had enough.
When you went to the longer distance, the nice thing about when you run the track, it's you against you. When you're doing the ITU type of races, the best person doesn't always win because there's so much of the draft dynamic that plays into it, the pack dynamic. Did it feel like back to your track days, when you got into longer distance, it was really just all about you. It was you against the course, you against yourself, and the other people were there, but you could push yourself as hard as you wanted to.
Yeah, for sure. Like that's the bit that really appeals to me. I kind of, and even on the track, that's why I kind of stepped up from the 1500 meters, the higher you go and into the championship races, it is a lot about that tactical, like wait and then kick. And I just like those time trials, those just hard out from the gun, which often happens when you're trying to get the qualifying time for a championship. And that's why I was stepping up to the 5K. And the longer distances on the track. And then, yeah, I found the same thing in a triathlon. Just like you say, you can get into that zone and it is so much more kind of you against yourself and just seeing how far you can go, kind of pushing yourself.
So in 2017, when you go to Chattanooga to go to the World Championships, and it was one of those days, normal, like you said, normally you come out of the water and everybody's gone. That day, you were there. Right? You were there with everybody else who you were racing against. I bet you were cycling with a big smile on your face because you didn't have to be chasing.
Yeah, it was just one of those courses that you had when we were driving around. I saw that big hill after the swim, and I thought, okay, like this is an opportunity. Even if you're a little bit back in the swim, you have that big climb, and the descent isn't too bad. Like I can probably hang on. It's not too technical. It's not too steep. And so I was pumped about the course, and we really focused on my swim and my swim start. And yeah, like even going into the race, I thought, okay, it's going to be won or lost for me, kind of depending on who I can keep in contact with that swim. And when I came out of the water, and yeah, like you say, there was a big group of girls there, and I was like, okay, let's go. And yeah, I loved it. Even on the bike, like just being in that company, yeah, it felt a bit surreal.
How did that placing, getting second, getting a silver medal at the World Championships, how did that change things for you in terms of sponsorship and support?
Yeah, I think I already had like great support from the BMC team, and yeah, I felt like the support that I had going in, I had Hoka, I had the BMC team, and it was more a case of I felt like I was validating the support and the belief that they had put in me, and yeah, just super pumped to continue to grow with them, and I think it's that thing of as well. It's a great race, but then you're still hungry for more. Like it's the next thing to go long, because I thought, hey, Daniela was still that far ahead. What's she doing that I'm not? She's doing the long distance. Like that makes you tougher. That makes you stronger. And yeah, that kind of drive came from there.
What did you learn from, was it Ironman Austria?
Yeah.
What did you learn? What you learn from that? You ended up getting third, right? 2018 Ironman Austria.
Yeah. Just
But you were leading till about 10K to go.
Yeah, the run was not pretty. It was a really weird race because I had so many ups and downs that I'd practiced in training and it had been perfect. I thought, I need the carbs, I need the salt, but I don't want to be dehydrated by the sugar. So I'm going to have Marmite sandwiches. And they'd been fine in training. I just drank loads and had my Marmite sandwiches. In the race, like they were in my pouch and I was like, I don't feel too good. Like I feel a bit sick. I'll eat them later. And later never came. I kind of massively bonked the last bit of the bike. And then in transition, I just, yeah, had a little bit again. I was like, okay, you'll be fine. And then started running. And again, then just wasn't taking on board. I was like, I eat, like I'm well, everything's going great. And yeah, then when I hit the wall. I was just like, then grabbing everything, grabbing Coke, grabbing water. But by then it's too late. It's literally, I was just counting in my head to try and get each footstep closer to the finish.
So then you have your first experience in Kona, 2018, and didn't finish the race. But what did you learn about yourself and maybe about that course from that race?
Yeah, I think again, I went and got a sweat test. We went back through my nutrition strategy, and like I never had that bonk or that hit. And the goal was always to be slightly under kind of swim hard, but then slightly under bike. Don't go max out, be safe, and then see what I can do on the run. Because yeah, that was the bit that kind of excited me. And I didn't feel too bad on the bike. Like, yeah, I thought it's going to be hot. You're going to feel a bit lightheaded, but coming into transition, I didn't feel terrible. And it was only when I put my head down, doing up my shoes, and then I went to stand up. And then, yeah, I just remember like looking up into the first aider's eyes. And it was just that thing of just, I don't know, I felt gutted. I felt like I came here and I'm not going to come all this way and not finish the race. And so I spent my time in the medical, came around, and I went out there, and yeah, obviously the race was over. But I think it's that thing of it just like, it made me think it is that challenge, and it's great to step up to a challenge. And if you don't hit it first time, then yeah, you have to deal with, is there failure? Well, it depends how you look at it. Like you say, if you take lessons from it, if you learn from it, and you can be proactive in solving things, then yeah, it's maybe more of a lesson than a failure.
You've had so much success at that 70.3 distance. And obviously, you know, what you did in Austria, getting third there, do you feel that the 70.3 is a better distance for you, or do you prefer the longer? the full?
Yeah, I still love the idea of going long. I think that run can be such a killer blow in the long races, and it's what I love to do. I love to just put my trainers on, go run 2.5 hours, and like that's me. And I think like my love is still there, but I have to accept that it has had a detrimental effect on my 70.3 racing in the last couple of years. And yeah, so this year the goal was going to be the 70.3 with 2 world championships. Like back in, I kind of felt like there's so much that like opportunity in the 70.3. Better to really do that well and focus on that and do things like go back to the World Duathlon, and then the time will come when I'm ready to go up again. But yeah, I want to do it properly and not be like, oh, I just slide an Ironman into a 70.3 season, which a lot of girls can do. Like a lot of girls can do both of them. But I feel like I have to either focus on one or the other to do it properly. So yeah, that's the goal.
The other thing that, since this whole COVID thing, the virtual racing has become huge, and you won multiple virtual races. And we were chatting a little before we started the interview. You really liked it because it sort of pushes you. You don't have to worry about bike handling. You don't have to worry about wind or cars or anything like that. You can put lights and disco. You could have whatever you want going on, and all you do is put your head down and go. You like that, right?
Yeah, I just love it. I think it's that just pure, there is no danger. Like I feel so safe in that zone that, like you say, you can get so lost in it that you're literally, the only focus is how hard can I push? And you feel your heart like coming out of your chest, and you're just staring at the screen trying to hang on to this wheel. And I think it's so much fun, and I do feel like it makes you strong, and I really enjoyed it.
So heading into what we hope will be 2021, we hope we'll have some racing. What are your? Yeah, I know. Are you doing any more? Will you be doing any races between now and the end of this year? Any real races, or will we be focusing mainly on 2021?
Yeah, definitely. We made sure, like I'm ready to race. I will race anything that I can right now. And we're still in South Africa. The flights aren't open yet. But the minute they open, whether it be a race in France, Luxembourg, whatever travel, or Daytona, whatever travel will allow, then 100% I will race. So fingers crossed there will be a 2020. Even if it's a small one. And then next year, the goal will be 70.3, go back to World Duathlon, and just have some fun. Like I like to race a lot. That's another reason for me to do the 70.3 scene at the moment, just to back up the races and see where we can go.
What's still funny to me is, I mean, you're doing 6, 7, 70.3s. And when you were a runner, if someone said, hey, listen, you're going to run 7 half marathons this next year, you probably would have looked at them and said, you're crazy. There's no way I'm going to do 7 half marathons. I think people look at the 70.3 like it's an Olympic distance race. It's a long day it's a 4-hour plus day for you guys. How do you stay healthy doing that much racing?
Yeah, definitely. I think it is. It's like you say, it's if you told me back in my track days, like when I had a 1500 meter heat and then the next day I had a final, I'd be freaking out. I'd be like, okay, recovery this, like that was a big weekend. To say you're going to do a 70.3 and the next weekend back it up. I think it's one of those things where I've just learned what my body feels kind of good off. And I just feel like the more racing I do, I almost take the training back a little bit. And because I'm such a high volume trainer, I feel like when I race, because I'm training less, then it's easier to taper to you're almost fresher the next week. And obviously you can't do that too much because then you'll lose the accumulation of kind of your base block of training. But yeah, I do find that almost back-to-back weekends, I do sometimes feel better on the second one.
That's amazing. Hey, Emma, thanks so much for taking time. Such a pleasure to catch up, and hopefully, because I love racing too, and I'm definitely going down the Challenge Daytona. Hopefully, if they let you in the country, you have to come out. It's $1 million prize purse for that race.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed I will be there.
All right, Emma. Thank you so much. Emma Pallant has been our guest, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in with Breakfast with Bob. We will catch you next time.